Hi, good afternoon.
Hi,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, Tito.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
How is everyone?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Dee.
Yeah, so how is everybody doing?
I'm good. How are you? क्योंकि मैं बाहर से run करवा रही थी.
So, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine.
I'm good, and just the update that Bua chose to get admitted to the hospital, so I'm a little relieved.
Which is good.
Yeah, and I'm good.
Whatever shows up,
Yes,
and it's
yes.
fine.
And we are waiting for Smriti to show up.
She's already here.
Oh, okay.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Smriti.
So I think on this group, mostly people know Smriti, or is there anybody who doesn't?
So Vanna, is the volume low or because I'm hearing it really, really low? I don't know why.
You are hearing it low because it's normal
We
for
are
us.
able to hear her clear.
You're able to hear? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just see what else.
So in my house, there's a power cut just like a minute ago. So I'm operating the phone hotspot. In case it goes off, what I'll do is I'll make I'll make someone the host.
Yeah, just make someone the host so that the call continues and then you can join back.
Yeah, that's one. Geeta, I'm making you the host so
Alright.
that the call doesn't get.
Sure.
Yeah. 1 second. Cool. So, yeah, for those who know Smriti, you already know that she's an access consciousness facilitator. And for those who don't know, she's one of my amazing friends and a great facilitator. And because I already introduced her in the yesterday's call, I don't want to do the whole thing again. You can watch the yesterday's video and find out more about her and see the work that she does. And I would recommend everybody do watch yesterday's video or listen to the SoundCloud because she has done some amazing energy pull exercise and she's spoken about money. And these are the topics I wouldn't commonly talk about most of the times because here we are dealing with more with physical pains and issues. Pallavi, will you mute yourself, please? Yeah, thank you. So, so here we are mostly talking about the pains, aches, and how to deal with that and everything, and a lot of other conversations. I felt that yeah, it'll be great to have some more subjects to talk about, topics to talk about. So I invited Smriti and she took out the time for all of us, and I'm very grateful for that. So yesterday's money conversation, lack, abundance, energy pull, it was super good. If any of you want to revisit that, just watch the video or listen to the audio. And now I'm just, telling her to take over right away. So
by the way, yesterday's video was amazing. I heard it till I was, around 12 o'clock. I started listening to it and it was amazing.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
energy pull was
Even I heard it.
amazing.
It was really amazing and very helpful also. Thank you.
Thank you.
So here we go. We already have testimonies of the people who have listened to the video and audio. So looking forward to another amazing session by Smriti Goswami. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, Vanna. And I'm just so looking forward to this. And I wonder what this session creates. So since we already spoke about a little bit about money yesterday, we've just touched upon those topics. Okay, there's so much more to it. There's so much more information with respect to money and everything else. Yesterday's call, I'm not sure if the same person is here in this call or not, but somebody had asked me a particular question regarding relationships. So I thought, let me just touch upon that topic a little bit. See, where are you guys holding yourself back in your relationship, how to actually get over that, and how to keep choosing you no matter what. So let's just get started with that. And so I'll talk a little bit and then I can maybe take on your questions if you have. Okay, so first of all, let me start with the sentence. I read this somewhere and I thought it was really, really very cool. So dreams come a size too big so that we can grow into them. You know, how cool is that? We keep thinking our dreams are too big. We dream too big, or our dreams are too big, and about giving you ideas, tools, and resources that will allow you to change and create everything, like everything possible. Okay, it's not about being perfect. It's not about, it's always about starting. Okay, and it's about knowing and trusting yourself that no matter what, you will be able to choose it and create it for yourself, no matter what. Okay, so so also in the process, you can start asking yourself, okay, so what talents and abilities do I have that I've not yet acknowledged, that if I were willing to acknowledge, would open up a whole new world for me, whole new world of creation for me, or a whole lot of numerous revenue streams for me. Start asking those questions, because we keep so busy doubting ourselves. We keep waiting for others to validate us, and we keep waiting to be received by everybody else. And you know what happens, where even if you're with your friends, nobody will bother validating you or actually acknowledging you, because somewhere you're being something that is what they would like to be. Okay, and because they're not choosing that for themselves, and they see you choosing that and being that, they will try their best to pull you down or not really acknowledge that as, and you keep thinking you're not good enough. Okay, so they will keep talking about themselves. So just be very aware of that also. This particular thing is where you tend to get into self-doubt. Now, what I just mentioned, it can be your own family members. You know, you'll do everything, you'll whatever else you'll do for your family or for the people around you. They will just say, yeah, it's okay, you know, it's just okay. Because if they start acknowledging what you're doing, your presence, what your presence in their life is actually creating for them, they feel they might end up losing you for whatever reasons. So they'd rather just keep a low profile and not allow you to not really acknowledge you for what you're being. So the good thing is, you don't have to wait for the others to acknowledge you. You just know what you are, acknowledge yourself, receive yourself. The one person who needs to start receiving you is you yourself. You don't have to wait for others to validate your presence or validate your talents and your abilities. Okay, you need to just recognize yourself and honor that first. And be willing to be as weird as you are. Be willing to, you know, basically dare to be you in your own way, in whichever way that's fun for you. So, you know, how many times you would come across people and you feel, you know, their life looks rosy from inside. So you yourself also, you know, most of us tend to project an image out into the world where we are like, this is, everything is hunky-dory in our lives, everything is perfect, and you know, we don't have to worry. But in truth, somewhere within you, you're unhappy. And since you don't want to appear ungrateful, you're holding on to that facade of apparent happiness. So how many of you actually identify with that? Okay, it's not that bad. Okay, but instead of complaining, so you get into thinking that, okay, I'm unhappy, but things are not really that bad. And instead of complaining, I should just be grateful. Otherwise, I'll end up losing what I already have also. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll have maybe a basic job, a relationship that is barely working, a home which is there's so much more that you can create from that, or just enough money so that you can live without being able to take big leaps. Okay. My question to you is, why not? Why not be willing to take those big leaps? What is stopping you? If that, so dissatisfaction is not wrong. Dissatisfaction is a space where you recognize that there is so much more left to be achieved, to ask for, to create, and to strive for. Okay, that means that there is so much more ability in you that you can actually choose something way greater than the present that is there right now. This does not mean that you're greedy or there's never enough. It's not that. It's that drive that you have, that, okay, cool, I did all this, now what next? It's something that will keep you motivated all the time. So be present to that. So never ever discount the fact that you're feeling dissatisfied as, okay, now this is what I have to live with. Okay, just keep on choosing more and more and more greater for yourself. Okay, whichever way it shows up. Now, so what else? A lot of people, when they're feeling dissatisfied, they'll just stay with that because they don't want to topple the apple cart, right? Everybody's comfortable. So what you're doing right now is you're just making everybody around you comfortable. So you value all the relationships around you. You don't want to topple the apple cart. You don't want to disrupt the status quo, that comfort zone. Be very, very present. Okay, all it takes is one choice to leap. Would you dare to leap into possibilities, into knowing what you can create with your life, into following your knowing, into choosing more possibilities in your life? So everything that doesn't allow you to know, be, perceive, and receive this information with total ease, will you not destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right from good, bad, pop, online shots, boys and beyonds. So somebody yesterday had asked about relationships, okay? And let's talk about different nuances of relationships. So let's talk about the question that she'd asked was very different. I'm not at this moment answering that question, but I'm asking you to be present and see where are you still holding on to things that are not really working for you. So let's talk about, for example, so we're just taking a hypothetical example, or not even an example, just I don't know why this particular topic is showing up, so let's talk about that. Leaving a relationship. So I don't know, out of all these participants, who this is for, I have no clue, but this is what was calling out.
1 second, Smriti.
Yes.
Can you all mute yourselves, please? Unless you have to ask a question, please mute yourselves.
So, Gitu, can you make me a co-host, please? Because then I can just keep muting as and when it shows up.
Definitely, I'll just do that.
So you can make Bandna also co-host, and all right.
So I've made her, you want me to make her the host or the co-host?
Co-host. At least make me the co-host so that I can mute when I want.
Okay. It's saying just make host. I'm making you the host.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah. So I made you the host. Okay.
Okay, cool.
And before you proceed, thank you so much. I've been waiting to hear you since I've known you by virtually. So thank you. Thank you. Let's go on. And I'm waiting to ask my questions then.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you. So let's talk about leaving a relationship. I don't know who this is for, but it was just showing up. Okay. So when you in a relationship, and there are some times when things are not working for you, you tried your best and things are not really moving, things are not shifting for you, things are not changing for you, and there's that major sense of dissatisfaction. Okay, start asking. Okay, you have to be willing to look at truth. Is this relationship working for me? Okay, now if you ask the other person, is this relationship working for you? Is that hurting somebody's feeling, or you're just sort of asking a question? Because what you're doing is you're making them also present to the fact that they need to start looking at what's exactly going on. Just give me a minute, just give me 30 seconds.
Is anybody recording the session?
Yeah, it's getting recorded.
It
Okay,
is.
thank you.
So yeah, before Smriti, I mean, she joins in 30 seconds. For those who don't know why she's taking up this topic, she's very energetically very connected to the, to people's energies. And she figures out what someone in the group requires, and then she starts talking. And that's her capacity. I have seen her in different workshops that I've attended with her, whether it's business done different or activities like right voice for you, being you. She teaches a lot of things, and so she has this capacity of catching the energy of what you're not even speaking. People may not even ask questions, people may not even speak about it, but she would just catch the energy and she would start talking, and most of the times it would be like bang on required for someone to hear. So if anybody feels that, okay, what is this conversation about, just get that it is there, the energy of it is around there in the group somewhere, which is perceived, and she's just talking about it. Yeah, you can continue.
Yes, thanks, Panda. Yes, that's what usually happens. I'm tapping into somebody's energy. I have no clue who this is for, but yeah, so that's the reason this topic is sort of showing up. So let's talk about it. Okay, so when you're in a relationship and things are not going the way you really want it to, you're really unhappy in your relationship, ask yourself, be totally vulnerable with yourself and ask, okay, truth, is this relationship working for me? So, and if you ask the other person, your partner, is this relationship working for you? That doesn't mean you're hurting somebody's feeling. It just means that you're asking a question and you're also making them present that maybe they need to invest more in this relationship, or maybe they might also be feeling the same thing. And so that way it gives you a chance to have a healthy discussion and start talking and see what is not really working. Okay, it doesn't mean you're putting someone down here. Now, when you ask this question bluntly, okay, and when you're asking this, just say truth, because when you say truth before you ask anything, you don't have to say the word truth aloud. Okay, you can say truth in your mind and then you can go ahead and ask the question. Then they'll be willing to be very honest and give you exactly the whatever's the truth that's going on with them in their space with regards to this particular relationship. Okay, then you can actually be friends and not enemies. So what happens is many relationships that are not working for either party, but you keep trying to pretend the other one is going to be hurt if you choose to leave. Okay, so as a humanoid, okay, most people who are in access classes are usually humanoids. That's a topic for some other day. Okay, when you leave a relationship, you just take a suitcase and leave. Okay, but how much judgment does it require to have them leave you? So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you choose to leave the relationship, here's a situation where both of you are not happy in your relationship. But if you choose to leave the relationship, you'll feel that there'll be a whole lot of judgments passed on to you. People will talk nonsense about you and they'll blame you for everything, that you were choosing more for yourself and you left them behind. And somewhere you don't want to deal with those judgments. So you will create them leaving you instead. Okay. And then you keep wondering, see, poor me, they left me. Okay. But how much? So when you become present and ask yourself the truth, at what point in time did I actually energetically leave this relationship, is when you'll be really present to, wow, I really didn't want this to work anyways. But it's very difficult to admit it to yourself because you feel, you'd rather be the victim and feel like the other person is the one who chose to leave you and is not 100% committed to you and so on. So you be very present to see what exactly is going on. So ask yourself, truth, when did I leave the relationship? I'll give you an example. I was attending one of the CF trainings in Rome a few years ago, and some lady had asked a question and about something to do with relationships, and Gary asked her, he's like, so truth, when did you leave your marriage? Okay, and she was taken aback with that question, but there was an energetic answer or an awareness that she got. And she's like, that's interesting. I think I left the marriage, or I quit this relationship before I even got married. So he's like, that's interesting. So why did you carry on with the whole rigmarole of getting married and everything? So, her answer was very interesting. She's like, well, all the cards had been sent, all the guests had been invited, and they were on the way here. So we didn't want to call off the wedding. So I went along with it. So just because you didn't want to call off the wedding at that moment because you'd already sent out the invites, you chose to suffer throughout, okay, or create a marriage that's not really contributive, because that moment you did not dare to choose for yourself because you didn't want others to start judging you. So start being really, really present. What is it? When did you actually leave the relationship that created that energetic barrier or a rift already? And then now, because you don't want to leave the relationship physically, you end up creating your life partner or your partner doing whatever they're doing to choose to move away from that relationship, okay? So that you can blame them and not blame yourself. So everything that just brought up, will you destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, on Aishwar's voice and beyonds. So what I just did was use an Access energetic clearing statement. You can, for those of you who are not very familiar with Access, you can Google and find out Access clearing statement, and you'll get enough information about it. It just is about bringing up the energetic awareness or a limitation that that particular question is creating for you, and just blast it out of your system. So yes, Panna, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Smriti. I wanted to actually share more on what you just said. I actually know of a person who, even before marriage, we were having a conversation, and it was so clear that this is not what she wanted to get into. But then, just because the cards were distributed and this and that, and everybody knows, and now it's almost like just 15 days to the marriage. How can I quit? And all of that. She got married. Then she got married, and then she had a kid also, and then it went on. And almost every 6 months, there comes a huge chaotic, kind of a situation where it is like, okay, now we leave. And then, of course, they haven't yet left. The conversation that you did, right? That because we have invested so much into something, whether it's invested your time, whether it's invested your money, whether it is invested your emotions, we don't want to drop that. We don't want to leave that. And when I'm telling this, the awareness that I'm getting, even for the people here and otherwise, is that it's not only about relationships, about dis-ease also. We invest so much in creating a disease that we just want to maintain that disease, and we don't want to let it go because we've already invested too much in creating that. So
that's awesome, Banda. Let me
yeah, I mean, I knew Anjali would have something to say that.
let me just add something here. So for
Vandana,
those of you,
sorry.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are here attending this call, if I were to buy your limitations, how much would you sell it for? So you just write it on the chat, okay? What is the price for your limitations? How much will you sell it for? Like 10 crores, 1 crore, 100 crores, or how much? Like just whatever it is, whatever price that you get, lakhs or crores, I will buy it. Just put it out there, okay?
Limitations for what?
Sorry, what? What did you ask?
For what?
Any limitation, anything that's stopping you, whatever limitation that you can perceive, I'm choosing to buy them. Okay? So just a minute, let me mute everyone, and then you can, whoever is speaking can unmute. So yeah, just write down on the chat how much you're going to sell your limitations to me for. What is the price for your limitation? Okay, even if it's not me, even if there is somebody buying those limitations, how much will you charge? Like in crores, in lakhs, or whatever it is. Okay, so yes, Vanna, you continue with what you were saying.
No, I wanted to say something, Smriti.
Yes, Anjali.
I have come from the same situation of marriage. I had given up before marriage, but I
Yeah.
continued for 17 years
Yes.
with 3 kids. And for disease, again, as Bandana said, I am the person. So both the situations, I'm there.
I told you, Ranjali, you have to be willing to be that killing energy with your disease, okay?
Yes,
And
I am.
somewhere you just say you are, but you're not choosing it still. So
No, I think I'm now started working very hard on my health.
cool.
Recently done that.
Because if things are not shifting for you, you're not really choosing it. So just be very aware of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So keep writing. What is the price you're setting for your limitations? How much are you going to sell your limitations for me for? You can ask for crores. You can ask for anything. Okay. I'll go through what you've written in a while, and I'll come back to you. You wanted to complete something, Bandha?
No, Smriti, you can continue. I just wanted to bring this to everybody's awareness that, even relationship with a disease or anything that we are holding on to, any loss, any discomfort, anything that we think is very precious. And that's also where in Soul's Temple, that is why we say, if XYZ is my Soul's Temple, my need to hold on to it and my resistance to let go of it is my Soul's Temple, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the whole concept with which we work. So I would like you to continue.
Cool.
I have a question.
Yes, Srishti, go ahead.
How do you decide that whether you should hold on to the relationship or you should move on from it?
Yeah.
I mean, so for example, like I'm 25, okay? Now my parents keep telling me that you should get married, you should get married. Now I'm dating a guy since the last 3 years, but I'm still not sure that whether I should get married to him or whether I should just walk away. Whether I should like lower my expectations and understand him and give him space, or whether what I am asking for
I
is.
would say, Drishti, why start with a compromise?
But it's not like everybody.
If you're with somebody for 3 years and you still have a doubt, then ask lots of questions.
It's not like anybody you're going to stay with, anybody you're going to get married to. You're always going to have problems with everybody. Like you and somebody cannot be.
But if you've already been with somebody for 3 years, you already know, your being knows. Okay, if there is a doubt, you need to first address that. Truth, what am I aware of? Truth, can I have more awareness and clarity with this? Can I have more information about what I'm aware of here? And just be in question. Don't just decide, be in question. So, okay, truth, what is it that about this person that's bugging me or that's irritating me? And then see, okay, cool, is it even worth it? Is it worth giving so much of energy to? Like, for example, I mean, if somebody's dressing sense is worrying you, that's something you can overlook, right?
Yeah.
So things like that. But if there is something beyond, if that person is not choosing to stand up for you right now onwards, then you need to take a call with that. Okay. So if the person, if you are aware that the person is lying, you really need to take a call. So you would ask for more awareness and clarity and things start opening up. Okay. Plus, we'll be discussing more right now. So you'll get a lot of awareness about whatever I'm talking about. So it will give you more awareness about what exactly you should choose. And before we move on, Sophia had mentioned that she did not understand the question I'd put across. I'd said, if I was willing to buy all your limitations, how much would you sell it for? Okay, it can be anything. The limitation can be you not choosing to show up in the world, or the limitation can be you don't know how to dance, or the limitation can be the places and things that you're using to hold yourself back. So it can be anything. Okay, or whatever you perceive your limitations, how much is the price you put for it? Just put that down here. Okay, how much would you like to sell it for? So I hope you understood the question now, Sophia. So Drishti, I'll come back to you again. Let me just go through whatever I'm telling, and then you will get a lot of more awareness, and then we can address your question again.
Sure.
Cool. So what happens is, when you tend to walk away from a relationship, you will just walk away with a suitcase and not try to get anything like no money or no part of the settlements. You choose nothing. Okay. The reason you allow or you wait for the other person to walk away in the relationship is because when you walk away from it and you pray they will kick you out first, because you don't want to leave them, because you know that you will survive and probably they will not. Right? So that's what happens. You know you can trust yourself to survive, but somewhere you're scared that they might not be able to survive. So you end up creating it as if it's their choice, and then they'll be able to choose more for yourself. So but no matter how much you leave behind for them, no matter how much you leave behind, they will still consider you nothing but absolutely wrong. And so yeah, just know that. And if you're in a marriage, you deserve half. So be willing to claim and own that for yourself. Okay. Don't just leave it saying that it's okay, you want to do whatever, I'm just signing off, I'm moving. You live your life because I care for you, I love you, I will not ask for demand for anything else. And then you just move on, because as a typical humanoid, we know we can create from the scratch again. So just be very aware, but be willing to take whatever is required. Okay. Don't just keep giving away all the time. So what happens is sometimes, so yeah, now it came to that question that that person had asked. I forget her name. Okay, so the person had asked that what happens when a person is distant or is a sort of an avoidant partner in a relationship. Okay, it's not 100% committed to that relationship in whichever way. Just know that a lot of times we may find distant or avoidant partners very alluring because their avoidance is a challenge to our ego. Okay. And so we might find it more exciting to be caught up in a push-pull dynamic with someone, and instead of saying yes to love that is readily available and healthy for us. So we'd rather choose people who will have that push-pull dynamic. You know, most of us tend to like people who are more wicked. Okay, they have that there's just something very interesting about them. They're wicked, they are interesting, they're challenging. It's just sort of a challenge. Okay, so you tend to get attracted and choose those kind of people, and you tend to ignore somebody who's right there waiting for you, choosing to love you, and you just sort of ignore them. So just be very aware of that. Okay, so this excitement comes from eroticizing rejection. Okay, it feeds that part of us that still feels like you have something to prove. Okay, prove we are lovable or worthy, that we are so special that we can change someone's mind or behavior. You know, you feel my love will change this person, so I will continue with this person. But that excitement that you feel is actually draining your energy and soul sucking it in so many levels. Okay, how many of you tend to, so when we tend to abandon ourselves for someone who's undeserving of our energy, our inner child is usually hurting deeply and feeling afraid to be left alone. Okay, so it's okay to walk away when your heart isn't being cherished, honored, or supported. Okay, we are all going to have those days when we show up as the worst version of ourselves, but end of the day, we all deserve to be with someone who knows, who's in our corner or who's willing to choose us over everything else. Okay, someone who loves us on hard days and treats us and the relationship as sacred. So how much, when you're choosing to be with someone who's all the time sidelining you, how much are you actually feeding your inner child, or trying to fill a space which left unhealed during your childhood? Okay, so anytime we waste chasing someone to give us love, there's an unmet internal need for love and nurturance towards our inner child. So be very present to that. Ask yourself questions. Okay, what exactly is making me choose this? Why am I still hanging on with someone who obviously doesn't really care about me? Why am I putting myself down like this. Okay. So you don't really need someone else to reflect back your wounds, okay, without being willing to heal with you. So what you're doing is you end up choosing a partner who's just reflecting your wounds back at you. Things that you went through, the journey that you went through in your childhood, all the need for love or appreciation that you went through, everything that, every place where you were not nurtured enough, you end up creating a life partner who's reflecting the same needs back to you, okay? But you need to choose a partner who's willing, even if that person is reflecting, but is that person willing to sort it out or heal along with you? Then it's fine. But if they're not, then they're just making you aware of what are you lacking, or not really lacking, but what is that place, part of you that you really need to start healing. So if you feel left out, if you feel unloved, I would say start with healing your inner child. And Bandha's pretty good at doing that. So, you know, she conducts some amazing exercises of healing and nurturing your inner child. So that will be a very good workshop to choose with her. Okay, so you don't need someone to trigger all of your insecurities by treating you like an afterthought or avoiding intimacy. Okay, so it's very, it'll feel very unnatural to sort of leave this kind of a connection, because you know you're breaking your old pattern. It's a very, very old pattern. So you'll keep on creating such patterns. That unhealed part of you will keep creating that. So at this moment, what you can do is lower your barriers. Barriers are these imaginary walls around you, and go back to all those times in your childhood where you were invalidated, where you were put down, where you were made to feel wrong and made to feel small about something, or somebody really shouted at you. You'll just know there'll be those moments that will start showing up. It would be either, you know, maybe you're 12 years old or you're 6-year-old or so on. It'll show up, and just say, okay, I now claim all those broken bits and pieces of my being. I now reclaim it. I make myself whole again. Okay. So at this moment, you can start with this, but I would highly recommend the workshop on inner child healing that Vanna does. She's pretty brilliant with that. Okay. So now what else? The moment you start choosing for yourself, the moment you choose to sever your addictions to this kind of a shadow relationship that is showing up, and move towards people who actually hold you in your highest light or highest regards, that moment onwards, you are actually choosing to heal yourself. Okay, so start doing self-acceptance work and make the relationship with you your number one priority. Okay, so make the relationship with you the number one relationship in your life. The moment you start choosing you, the moment you start valuing you, things will start shifting, and the people around you will start shifting and changing and actually acknowledging you for what you are. Okay, so another question, let me ask you. Yes,
Simran has put a question on chat, if you would like to address.
Yeah, Simran, can I just come to you in 5 minutes? Let me just, there's just some information that I want to give, and then I'll take on all your questions. Okay, I'll just give me 7 minutes. So I'd like to ask you all a question. How many of you, so anything that's coming up, you can also keep putting it on the chat for me to read and address in some time. Okay, so how many of you from the time you were little kids learned to find the tiniest little crack where your space wouldn't impose on anybody else, wouldn't impinge on anyone else, and wouldn't impel a different reality in their world, and wouldn't harass them with your very being? Okay, so what happens is, as kids, we don't want to hurt anyone, we don't want to be too much. We'll look for those tiniest cracks and we'll go and settle ourselves there, because once we are here, then we are not getting in the way of anybody else. Okay, so you know how it is when there are two siblings, or you walk into a room and then there are kids who are crying, or suppose there are two kids and one of the kids is really, really crying a lot. So who would you go and pick up first and pacify first? the kid who's actually crying and making a lot of noise. Okay, so how much were you put down or invalidated in your childhood or made to feel wrong when you stood up for yourself or you created that noise, that you just chose to let go of your voice, you chose to stop demanding for yourself, that you stopped just choosing more for yourself. Okay, so that's when you learn to find the tiniest little crack where your space would not impose on anyone or impinge on anyone or impel yourself on anyone else, right? Just know that, acknowledge where were you that, okay? And if you had been that, that's what is showing up right now in this time also with you, at present level with you, where you're not willing to stand up for yourself or choose more for yourself or be willing to, say, hey, this does not work for me. Because sometimes when people are behaving in a particular way, they're not even aware, because you tend to be quiet and not speak up about it. So, and keep on taking the nonsense, and you feel that, okay, if I just let go this thing and I don't make it a big deal, it'll sort out later. But then the thing is, because they don't know how they are actually being with you or how much they are putting you down time and again, sometimes they're not even aware that they're doing that. It's just their way of being, is when you will start feeling suffocated in that relationship. So be very aware, everything that doesn't allow you to be your voice in that world, in your relationship, will you now destroy and uncreate that, please? Right from good, bad, for and shots, boys and beyonds. So ask yourself, okay, how have I been relating to other people's realities to create my reality of receiving and my reality of being that isn't my reality? Where am I not choosing for myself and just catering to everybody else's happiness? And is that working for me? And if it's not working for you, ask, okay, so truth, what do I have to be and do different to create a different reality for myself? What else can I choose? Okay, you don't have to fit into a box all the time. You know that you can create something different. You can choose a different reality for yourself and invite this reality to sort of fit in with yours. You don't have to be stuck anywhere. Everything that doesn't allow you to be free and just making choices that are fun and joyful for you, will you now destroy and uncreate that, please? Right from good, bad, pot, pop, online shots, boys and beyonds. Because when you choose to be everything that you are, then you'll be all of it. You'll be everything. Like I remember Dr. Dane getting a book signed by Dr. Dane, and he just looked at me and then he just wrote there. Sometimes they just write something. So he said, be all that you are. And I was wondering, I'm being whatever I am. So why did he have to write this? Be all that you are. So what was he implying here? So it's just this, that, sometimes you will still not choose for yourself because you're so busy catering to everybody else's happiness. So when you're choosing to be all that you are, you will not stop yourself because of certain choices that you make, which might topple other people's apple cart. That's you choosing more for yourself. If it is toppling other people's apple cart, that is not your problem. Okay, you're not in charge of everybody else's happiness. They are choosing to be happy. The reason they're choosing not to be happy or whatever is just to judge you and control you. Okay, so be aware of that. Okay, so everywhere you're not willing to acknowledge how phenomenal you are, and which keeps you right now choosing mediocre all the time, will you now destroy and uncreate that, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, poke, online shots, boys and beyonds. A lot of us feel that we need to be mediocre because then we'll have friends. We'll have friends who we can fit in with. And not that those friends are really your well-wishers, but it just makes you feel good that you have friends. So you'll choose to limit yourself or make yourself less to fit in with those people. So how much are you actually doing that even in your relationships? And is that working for you? When somebody had asked me, Anjali, I think somebody who had asked me the question, mentioned that, should I accept certain things? My question to you is, why would you make yourself less right now to tolerate whatever is not working? Okay, you don't start a relationship with a compromise. Don't ever think that, oh, I have someone who loves me and this is the only amount that I deserve and this is the only amount that I can receive. You know, your heart knows what kind of a person you desire. Ask for that. Ask for that to show up. It just might be the same person who shows up in a different way, energetically with you. So just be very present to that, okay? So focus on how people are treating you and less of what you desire to feel from them. Okay, focus on how they're actually treating you, because we often sort of tend to stay in a relationship with hopes that, you know, that person will one day see our brilliance or acknowledge us or would one day value us and will start changing over time. It'll never happen. It will never happen. Okay, just know that. Believe people when they show you the first time. Okay, so choosing to move away from people who are treating you badly doesn't mean you need to separate from them, but you need to sort of start claiming your being here. Okay, that is the first form of self-love. Okay,
And how to do it, how to claim yourself, like you are having when we move from that reality to other reality, but still I have the fear that again I will go there, I will go to that reality which I where I am not what
yeah.
now I am.
So Geeta, for that you need to really, really work on yourself. So if any one of you who's going through this kind of a relationship issues, or are feeling some sort of unease in your relationship or sort of dissatisfaction and you're not sure how to go about it, first start with empowering yourself.
Like
Okay.
I am good now. I moved from that space to now where I am good, I am feeling good here, I can do things, I am feeling I'm not suffocated at this place, but still I have the fear that they will pull me there again. Those people again, they will pull me, they will not change. But how to overcome that fear and be free in my space where now I reached by
So,
doing some work on myself, but I don't
Geeta,
know
so
how
for
I
that you have to
perform.
first of all start trusting yourself. Okay.
Okay.
You need to really, really trust yourself and know that no matter what, this is not what you're choosing. Okay. And so maybe if you're still not yet ready to trust yourself, there's still some more work that is lined up. Okay.
Yeah.
Because an empowered woman or an empowered man would not allow anybody to walk over them again and again. They will choose for themselves and they will trust themselves. So the moment you choose to trust yourself, so if right now, if everything was taken away from you, what would you do? Can you start again? Even if you're starting small, can you start again? Right? You can, right? So trust yourself that no matter, even if the whole world crumbles and falls and moves away, even if there's nobody else with me, would I be willing to choose for myself?
Like
So
I start enjoying it now, but still have the fear. How to overcome that fear?
That fear is usually a distractor implant, Geeta, which is stopping you from choosing more for yourself. Okay. The fear is a choice that you're making to not choose what will work for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just that. Sometimes
I want to enjoy more now.
Just choose that. Just choose. And so everywhere you've decided that it has to be really difficult to choose to enjoy more, will you let that go, please? You know, that's also a choice. You can have everything. So a lot of us feel that we can either choose to have fun or we can just choose to be like this. No, you can have everything.
Fun, and I am having fun little, but but I want to have more.
You're having little fun because you're choosing only little fun.
Okay.
What if you chose more for yourself, more fun, and invite your family to that possibility of that fun? Invite your family. Just also acknowledge the moment you start working on yourself, the moment you're choosing to heal yourself, you're also healing your whole family. The people around you will also start shifting and
that
changing.
part also, that which part was controlling me, that part also healed, and this will not control me more.
Yeah, that's a choice that you have to make. To not be controlled by anything
I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to enjoy my life, which I got in this lifetime. I want to enjoy everything now.
So what space of kindness can I be for everybody and yet choose for myself? And everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive this with total ease, will you now destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, for purple, and short, spoils, and beyond. So that's a clearing that you can use for yourself.
हमको clearing
Okay.
वाला ना आप मुझे chat पे भेज देना please.
Chat
Yeah.
pay, I won't have time to write it down, but I think you'll get the recording. Maybe you can listen to it and take down the, because I just, it's not somewhere I copied from. It just based on the question that you asked, it just showed up. So I don't even remember what I just said. So it'll be, it's getting recorded, so you'll get it. Okay.
Okay.
So cool. So let me just complete what I have to say, and then or okay, actually I realize there's so much more I have to say. So let's just go ahead with the questions.
At least complete what you were saying. I was looking forward to hear that.
Okay, cool.
Choice is yours.
So I just saw the time and I was like, oh God, like I didn't even realize I'd taken so much time. Okay. So just know that how much energy are you using against you? And is that even working for you? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate that, please? Focus, as I mentioned earlier, on how people are treating you. Just because people are treating you, you do not have to separate from them, but you also start becoming aware. And when you're willing to be aware, then you're not gonna buy their trauma and drama anymore. You won't get caught up in the trauma. You'll see it from outside and you'll say, okay, wow, that's interesting. They're choosing to showcase themselves as this. Okay, I don't need to get caught up in the trauma. What if I'm aware of their agendas? What if I'm aware of everything that's going on for them? And what if I can actually choose something beyond still? So I'll give you an example, okay? During the COVID last year, okay, suddenly we had no staff coming home, and then I was working all by myself, okay? And then we had a situation where certain things were not working the right way, and certain people were being a weird energy. And that was not fun for me. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So there was somebody who was pretending to be not too well and pretending deliberately, like, you know, just because I work with energy, I can perceive what's going on. I can see through people, right? So I was like, what the hell is this going on? And then I saw others being manipulated by that same person. And that wasn't fun energy for me. So I was like, you know, if I end up with some sort of disease, then they'll learn their lesson. Okay. And the moment I said that, I was like, wow, that's interesting. How much was I even choosing to create some sort of fatal disease in my body just to teach somebody a lesson, just to control them? How much are you guys creating issues in your body to actually control people around you? Be very aware of that. And why would you choose that? So the moment I became aware of that, I was like, man, what the hell? Why would I even choose something like this? So I just destroyed and uncreated everywhere I chose that in those 10 seconds. And I was like, this body, this is not happening. Okay, we're not choosing this, not at all. Okay, I don't need to teach anyone a lesson, because you know what, they'll still not learn a lesson. So this, you're not choosing this for, I'm not choosing this for my body anymore. So become aware, how much do you end up creating issues in your own body because you're not willing to speak up when required? Everything that just brought up, will you destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right, from good, bad, what, for, and shots, boys and beyonds. So, you know, we tend to choose only, so there's like 100% of us, okay, or 1000% of us, but we choose to live only the 10% of us. Okay, we choose to create our life by only the 10% of us. So the rest 990% of you are you're just hiding that. Okay, so what do I mean by this? It's just that we tend to create ourselves as a 10%, or we choose to show up only as 10% of us, so that we can validate everybody else's reality around us, so that we appear to be mediocre, so that we don't choose more for ourselves. But there is so much more available for you to start choosing. Okay, so I'd invite you guys to give a moment and look back at that particular point in time when you had when you really, really wanted something and you actualized it instantaneously. It just showed up. It might have been a trip that you wanted, or whatever it is, a house that you wanted, or something that you wanted, and you just actualized it. Okay. So maybe that can also be as a home play for you guys. Look back over your life and look at when you asked for something and it showed up instantaneously. Okay, when you were trying to create something and everything fell into place. So I'd like you to acknowledge that that was a time in which you were operating at more than 10% of you. Okay, and then ask, was that 12% or 15% or greater? Okay, so now you begin to recognize that you've been creating the space periodically. You've been choosing that space, okay, when nobody is looking, so that nobody will see that you're amazing, including you. Okay, so if you start acknowledging that when you really, really wanted something, you've made it happen, that's the moment that you need to start choosing more for yourself. That's that space of more than 10% is what you need to start choosing for yourself. Okay, because the moment you discount the fact that you created something instantaneously just on demand, when you start to eliminate that awareness or that power or that capacity, then you actually end up eliminating it from your life. Okay, you eliminate from having that available to you all the time. So be very present with that. Okay. So yeah, it's like, somebody, suppose you're crossing the road and you see there's somebody else along with you. It could be maybe a friend or someone, and you see a car speeding and it's really, really fast, and one split second decision and you just pull that person back and you also step back. Okay, and that car just passes by, and if you hadn't done that, your friend would have been under that car. So that superhuman capacity which shows up immediately is what you actually are. Okay, that's you choosing to operate from more than 10% of you. That capacity is what you need to start tapping into and choosing it. So what will it take for me to start choosing more, to operate from more than 10% of me? What will it take for me to start choosing from the 990% of me that I've kept hidden? And everything that doesn't allow that, I now destroy and uncreate it all, right from good, bad, pot, purple, and shots, boys and beyonds. So yeah, what else? Because
Smriti, that was
just 1 minute, Ranjit, 1 minute. So because when you start functioning from 990% of you, you have to watch what you say and think, because things show up really quickly, because you're willing to be that energy of instant actualization. Okay, so just start asking the universe to send you all kinds of money, start asking for all kinds of things that are fun, and start asking for what would you like to have as your life. Just start asking for it. There's no limit to what it is. Don't go into whether I'm making the right choice or the wrong choice. You don't have to, because when you try to make yourself right, you tend to get into judgment or judging yourself that is this the right choice or not. Whatever's fun, without any expectations, just start asking for it. And yeah, because the reason you're doing 10% is because you're choosing to align and agree with people and fit in with them. So when you move into 12% or greater, that's when you start choosing to create things that inspire, things, start creating a life that's outside normal, that's way greater with more possibilities. Okay, so just go ahead and choose that. It's available to you. Yes, Ranjali, what were you saying? And I'll take on questions. Sorry, Vanna, I've really overshot the time, but there's just, I've not even given half the information.
You don't have to say sorry, please. It's like everything you're talking is, it's only adding more value to what is going on.
Cool, thank you. So Ranjali, I'll take on your question. What were you saying? And then I'll go to Simran. She wanted to ask a question.
No, I was just saying that, that happened with me for foundation when I did with you.
Yeah.
Just an evening before, I didn't have the money and I really wanted to do it. And the next morning I had the money to do the foundation. It just came. Yeah. It was pure this thing of actualization.
That's when you choose something, the money just shows up. Simran, can you go ahead with your question? Are you there?
Yes, Smriti, my question was how does the inner child affect our current relationships? I just wanted to understand a little bit about that.
The unfulfilled part of you is what you will start seeking. So, for example, if you had an issue with your, wait, I'm just muting everybody. There's some sort of disturbance, and yeah. So, say for example, if you had a like a love-hate relationship with your dad, for example, okay, what will happen is because you're trying, or maybe with your mom, so you're trying your best to please her in whichever way possible, and she's really, really judging you for everything, mom or dad or anybody else in your family. You end up and you're not able to sort that out throughout, you keep getting invalidated and everything. Then later on, when you grow up, you end up choosing a life partner who will be the same energy. So you feel that if I'm able to please this person or work on this person and have this person validate me or everything about me, then I'm sorted. Okay. But you end up just creating a partner who will continue treating you like that, and you'll continuously keep on striving to please that person and without any success. So how much of your life are you actually choosing to let go or stop living for yourself just because of judgmental people around you who are all the time choosing to pull you down because they are aware of your phenomenons, they are aware of your brilliance, but if they acknowledge that, that means they have to make themselves less. So they'd rather not allow you to see your brilliance. So they'll keep pulling you down and invalidating you. So that's what I meant. So because of unhealed inner child, or a child who's constantly looking for love, constantly looking to be seen and validated, you end up creating a life partner from whom you'll keep having the same expectations, and you'll keep trying your best to please them. And it doesn't really work like that. Okay. The only person who needs to validate you is you yourself. The only person who needs to see your brilliance is you yourself. Okay. The moment you start doing that, believe me, when the moment I started valuing myself, everybody else, my entire relationship with everybody else around me changed. It just changed. Okay. That's a space you need to start choosing. And you'll be amazed at how people around you start shifting and changing and actually seeing you for what you are. I hope that addressed the question you had. And
Yes, thank you so much,
you're
Priti. Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. And I'll come to Geeta, and I'll just narrate a small incident which will make you realize when you said how to choose for yourself. I had this group of friends who were very close to me, and I've known them for so many years. And there was a moment in time a couple of years ago where suddenly, for some whatever reason, I will not go into the story of it, but for some reason, all of them just moved against me. Like they just started choosing somebody else over me. So they just moved away from me for whatever reasons. So much so that I was invited to be part of a birthday party, and nobody was even talking to me apart from saying hi, and that's it. Beyond that, they were just with themselves, and I felt really, really alone and left out. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. But sometimes there are things going on in your world where you feel your entire world is crumbling and you cannot pinpoint what, but there's an energetic awareness of uh, feeling that people are just deliberately sidelining you. So there was like a subtle form of gaslighting, and I just couldn't figure out what's going on. But I just knew, I remember being in tears around that time and just don't know how to deal with it. And then I just stopped and I asked myself, I was like, you know what, universe, even if there's nobody there for me, I'm going to be there for myself. Even if nobody else chooses to have my back or nobody chooses to stand up for me, I'm choosing to have my back and stand up for myself. I don't need to go around proving a point to anybody else. I'm going to be that energy for myself. So Geeta, when you reach that space of choosing for yourself, that's when you're actually healed, okay? And then that's when you'll be able to make those choices which will contribute to the life and living that you are demanding. And to choose that, it's when you're choosing to change your life or create more in your life, it has to be a constant choice. You have to keep choosing it every day, every 10 seconds, okay? It's not like I chose it today and see it hasn't shown up, so now that means it's not possible for me. No, it isn't. You have to don't have to ever give up, okay? Without giving up, just keep on choosing more and more and more, even if it's taking time.
No.
It's taking time because of your own points of view, okay? So be very aware of that. Cool. And what else? So, you remember I asked you guys, would you be willing to allow me to buy your limitations and what price? So let me just see who's written what. Only 2-3 people mentioned. And so somebody has said 20 crores, Prakash.
City just got so. Is it
Sea salt.
Please mute yourselves, everyone. Maybe it's something wrong at her end. And yeah, she's back.
You are on mute, Smriti. Smriti, we can't
We
hear
can't
you.
hear you.
I was on mute, sorry. I think I went beyond time, and that's why. Sheetal, I'll take your question and then we are done, I think. Yes, Sheetal, go ahead.
Actually,
You're on mute.
hi Smriti, hi.
Hi.
Since today morning, actually, I was feeling very, very, very lonely. I was in tears. I mean, I don't know. I feel I don't have those bunch of friends to talk to. And all these days, I had just attended one session of Bandana Ma'am's, and somehow I couldn't make it for all these sessions. And today I just read that it'll be you, and I am not even aware, I mean, about you. So it was great. I mean, what all guidance you have given today. I'll definitely keep a track of it and pull myself back from what I'm going through since today morning. So yeah, thank you.
Cool, awesome, Sheetal. Just keep choosing you, no matter what. Okay, and that's when. So Sheetal, unmute yourself first. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my relationship with my mother and my sisters is in a great mess since past 2-3 months. So it is what exactly what you said, that people they will never recognize my value. So this is what I'm going through.
So today you got a lot of awareness and you know how to overcome that.
Yeah.
And just know when people are judging you, they're just doing it to control you. Okay.
Yes.
And you would choose to stop yourself for what reason?
And I start doubting myself.
Yes. Is that working for you?
Yes.
Okay, obviously not. So
no, not at all. Not at all.
yes. So
I 100% no, I am not that.
So giving up being controlled is just a choice. Be aware. Just because you're aware of your own close people treating you in a particular way doesn't mean you need to separate from them, but always choose to be aware and say, okay, cool, this does not work for me. And even if they're judging me, I'm not buying that story and not getting pulled into all that trauma and drama. And yeah, and just make a different choice. And that's it. It's okay if they judge you.
So that means we need to maintain that level of distance also with them and cope up also.
I just told you, you do not need to separate from them, but everybody in your life is giving you information about themselves. So sometimes you have no idea what's going on in their world, which is what is making them behave like this or treat you like this. Okay. So all you know is when you start trusting yourself, when you are willing to value yourself and honor yourself, then it doesn't matter. You won't get so affected by what others are doing, you know. There'll be a space of zen for yourself.
Right.
So,
thank you
cool.
so much, Smriti.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vanna. I'm feeling so guilty for over taking extra time, but thank you so much.
It was feeling very privileged.
I don't think you have to feel guilty.
Yes.
Gitu, there's a lot of noise in your background.
Thank you very much, Smriti. It was lovely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nice. I loved it. And
Thank you so much.
Thank
It is
you.
wonderful. Session was wonderful, Smriti. It was awesome.
Thank you so much, Vanna ji, Smriti ji. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandana.
Thank you, Smriti. Thank you, Vanali.
Also, Smriti does a lot of classes, and then there is a page of hers on Facebook. What's the page, Smriti, if people want to follow?
It is, so one is Smriti Goswami. There's a page, and then there is Exponentialize Your Life and Business. You can check it out on Facebook. And
please write
that
it
particular,
down.
Yeah, Geetu, can you write down your question? Because there's too much of...
There's a lot of disturbance at your end when you're
speaking,
unmuting.
huh? So you can connect, you can join that page, Exponentialize Your Life and Business, because there's so much, and go to the unit section. There are a lot of videos. I've done almost about 20, 30 videos talking about different topics, money, self-sabotage, and a whole lot of other things. So you can have a look at all those videos, and maybe those might contribute to you. So, yeah.
And I mean, once you're following her page and other things, there are a lot of things she does: book reads, book clubs, being you classes, and business done different, foundation, access bars, and so much more. And
what is your Instagram handle?
One thing is also that she does is, the painting class. What's that called, Smriti?
It's known as art escapades, and I conduct painting workshops.
Yeah, art escapades. So yeah, there is so much she does. You can follow her page on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you wanna, and get connected to her. I'll share her contact on the group.
Gitu, can you just go ahead and ask a question, even if the volume is like that?
What is your Instagram handle?
So my Instagram handle is Smrt08, SMRT _08. Yes, Kitu, go ahead, ask. There is disturbance, but go ahead and ask quickly.
Is this disturbance?
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, I don't know from where it was. All right. I just had this question when you talked about relationship and relationship. So, like, how can we take those decisions joyfully? It's not easy. That's what is coming to me. Because when you started the discussion, you're like, choose. Like, fine, I can choose myself.
Where have you decided that it has to be uneasy and not fun?
Okay.
What energy space and consciousness can I and my body be to have ease with choosing relationships that are more joyful?
All right, because that's why I've been wrote in the chat boundaries, because that is what was coming to me.
After your question, just mute yourself because the answer is not heard.
Boundaries, I was.
Did you write something? Gitu, you can connect with me, I think, because we're not able to show it up here. But
I'll connect with you.
Just ask for ease with whatever choices you have. Just ask for more ease.
Sure. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Banna. I will just make you the host again and leave.
Thank you, Smriti. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Lots of love to you.
Thank you for
Thank you so much,
participating.
Smriti.
Everybody who participated, thank you. And thank you, Smriti, for the lovely conversation.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Smriti. Thank you,
Bye.
Smriti.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bandana. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bandana. Thank you so much.
Gratitude. Thank you.